Hello everyone, I'm Bobby Jonathan and this is the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital. Well, in our top stories, Dr. Simon Munzo, former special representative of the United Nations Secretary General in Ivory Coast, hands over the baton of command as spokesperson to Ellie Smith. That is as far as the Anglophone General Conference that will be coming up on the 21st and 22nd of this month in Boya is concerned. A section of the Anglophone population identified Dr. Simon Munzo as a problem, but Ellie Smith says he is not in any way a problem to the holding of that meeting. And also in this newscast, we shall bring to you an extract of Cardinal Tumi, Archbishop Emeritus of the Douala Metropolitan Archdiocese of the Roman Catholic Church, who laments over the deepening Anglophone crisis that has been recording devastating and deadly consequences. Stay with us. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us on this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. The All Anglophone Conference, or the Anglophone General Conference, will take place on the 21st and 22nd of this month in the Southwest Regional Capital, Boya. The organizers of the meeting, notably Ellie Smith, who is henceforth the spokesperson of the AGC, and of course Christian Cardinal Tumi, and the other organizers have emphasized on the point that there is no doubt about the holding of that meeting, and of course the date. They were speaking to the press today here in the economic capital Douala, and in the following extract, Ellie Smith tells us why the baton of command as far as the spokesperson is concerned has moved from Simon Munzo, or Dr. Simon Munzo, to himself, Ellie Smith, who is equally one of the organizers of the AGC. Take a listen.
Working with the Amazonian because they have the right to protest as they are protesting, and the other thing is that there has been some changes which you have noted, and also to point out that it is a religious initiative. It is not political, because politically you have seen that the politicians have tried, and I'm not the one to say it hasn't worked. I will not say it has failed, but it hasn't worked out. So people with another vision of the world, or a touch of spirituality, might be what is going to solve the problem. Sincerely speaking, I cannot replace Dr. Munzo. I can't. It is out of the situation, the persistent attacks, the threats on Mr. Munzo, and he also felt that if he is the cog to the wheel of progress of something that could bring peace and stability in the Anglophone regions, then he has this courtesy and say, let me bow out and for water to flow. So I know it is a very difficult and heavy responsibility, but when you love your country, there is one president, the president of Congo Brazzaville, Marien Ngouabi, said, you are ready to pay the ultimate sacrifice, which means dying for a cause. So that's the reason why, with all humility, I accepted to continue within the footsteps of Dr. Munzo, who is somebody that I admire and respect very well and very much, because he has an experience that most of us do not have. Some elements, some section of the people of southern Cameroon or Anglophones, especially those who are in the diaspora, felt that Dr. Munzo was a problem. That is what they felt, because Dr. Munzo, as far as I'm concerned, wasn't any problem. He's a resourceful person, and it is not going to be the problem. I think that, in life, and I admire Dr. Munzo very much, when you think at one point in time that you are a problem, or people do consider you as a problem, you can just say, all right, let me bow out for it to work. So there's not going to be any problem whatsoever. He's a person who loves Southern Cameroons. He doesn't even need to talk about it. The roles he has played in the Anglophone Conference 1 and 2, and what he's playing right now, is something that cannot be matched with any other person in the region.
Ellie Smith, veteran journalist and henceforth spokesperson of the Anglophone General Conference scheduled for 21st and 22nd of this month in the Southwest Regional Capital, Abuja, takes over the spokesmanship of that event from Dr. Simon Amunzo and Christian Cardinal Tumi, Archbishop Emeritus of the Douala Metropolitan Archdiocese of the Roman Catholic Church, equally one of the main organizers of that meeting, has emphasized on the point that there is no doubt and there should be no doubt on the date of that event to take place in Abuja, and he elaborates on the devastating and deadly consequences of that meeting to explain the urgency or the need for that meeting to take place as scheduled for 21st and 22nd of this month. Take a listen to Christian Cardinal Tumi.
There should not be any doubt about the date of the convening of the conference. It will take place on the 21st and the 22nd of this month. We think that the situation in the northwest and the southwest of our country is serious and getting serious every day. Many people are dying, not only of bullets, but also of hunger. Many no longer have much to eat. Many are running to their brothers and sisters on the French-speaking part of the country, and that's a good sign that the problem on that side of the country is not between Francophones and the English-speaking Cameroonians. No, the problem is military. What is our purpose as religious leaders? I want this to be clear.
The conveners of the Anglophone General Conference are clear on these. The Anglophone General Conference will take place on the 21st and 22nd of this month in the Southwest Regional Capital, Abuja, and they are determined to ensure that that event is successful despite the some hitches that are cropping up on the ground as far as the security and the political atmosphere reigning in the Southwest and Northwest regions are concerned. Bert Ellie Smith, as well as Christian Cardinal Tumi and the other organizers, have emphasized that there is nothing that's going to stop the holding of that meeting. It will take place and it will be the door opener to the Anglophone crisis, to efforts to find solutions to the Anglophone crisis. Now, on to something else. 32 years after eviction, victims of the Axlu, Bepanda, Bonateke, and Bona Bassem demolition exercise have stumped the Douala City Council, promising to continue mounting pressure on the authorities of the Douala City Council for the payment of their eviction indemnities. They are demanding for over 1,800 million francs CFA. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
The 908 families evicted from Axelu Bepanda, Bonabasem and Bonateke neighborhood in Douala 5 and Douala 1 subdivision invaded the esplanade of the Douala City Council head office to express their grievances over the non-payment of their eviction indemnities 32 years after they were sent packing and their homes destroyed. Evicted since 1986 from the land they occupied for public use, the victims have been persistent in their efforts to get their compensation, estimated at 1,800 million francs CFA. Reacting to their grievances, the government's delegate to the Douala City Council, Dr. Fris Ntone, said the process for the payments of their indemnities witnessed a delay as a result of some irregularities noticed with their documents.
Dans le budget Et il faut avoir les éléments qui nous permettent de l'inscrire.
He, however, promised to accelerate the process for their dues to be paid. Even after waiting for over 32 years, victims of the Bepanda Axelu, Bonabasem and Bonateke demolition exercise are still positive that they will one day be paid their eviction indemnities. Since their eviction in 1986, 6 government delegates have been at the head of the Douala City Council, 7 senior divisional officers at the head of the Vuri division, and their document has moved across 3 different ministries with a solution yet to be found, according to the spokesperson of the victims.
Le recensement a été fait, quant à lui, l'évaluation a été faite parce que chacun connaît son montant.
In the report coming up next, Smart Jikan Gabriel takes a look at the new facelift of the Wuri Bridge, notably with the construction of the second bridge over that river. And of course, he indicates that some persons are expressing satisfaction, notably road users, over the construction of the second bridge, and of course the rehabilitation of that whole area coming up right to Rompun. They do. Some, however, are raising some worries over the situation in that part of the country's economic capital, Douala. Manjikan Gebre has more.
The opening of the tunnel at Rompun to road users, many say, has eased the circulation of vehicles and commercial motorcycles plying the roads that lead to the newly constructed bridge on River Wuri, which is gradually getting to its end. The bridge, which in itself has provided space, a commercial motorcycle rider says, is a magnificent edifice. It is a jewel for us, particularly the way it was constructed. But if the Aquano end was arranged, we wouldn't have faced traffic congestion. If one praises the opening of the roads, another bike rider described the road as a high-risk one for the bike riders. It is good, but see it very risky for the commercial motorbike riders. The roads, many say, will curb the rate of traffic congestion if well used. The only problem I'm foreseeing is that motorcycles are not accepting to ride at the right side, but at the left side, where vehicles on top speed are plying. The only worry I have seen, but the tunnel is well constructed. A driver tells us since the opening of the road, circulation has been fluid. Circulation is fluid now for the past days. I have been walking, whether during the day or at night, no traffic congestion. Apart from the motorable path, the railroad is almost completed and separated from the main road. Even though works are still ongoing on the new Wuri Bridge, the aspect of traffic congestion, though limited since the opening of the bridge with different entry and exit points, will be something that can be completely wiped out.
The President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, decides to recruit 2,000 holders of the PhD degree from home and abroad to serve as lecturers in state universities. And the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Jacques Famendongo, granted a press conference today in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. This is an extract of what he told reporters.
Good day. The Minister of Communication, Government Spokesperson, the Secretary General, Inspector General, technical advisors, inspectors, directors and head of division, journalists, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. To begin with, you are warmly welcome in this conference hall of the Ministry of Higher Education, which is hosting our exchanges this day. I must also thank you for your prompt response to my invitation. On a special note, permit me to express my gratitude to the Minister of Communication for his willingness to accompany me in this exercise, despite his very tight schedule. As you can guess, the meeting of today has objective to enlighten you on the special recruitment process of doctorate degree holders in state universities as prescribed by His Excellency Paul, President of the Republic of our dear and beloved country, Cameroon. First and foremost, on behalf of the university community nationwide, I wish to address my profound gratitude to the President of the Republic, Head of State, His Excellency Paul, Apostle of New University Governance, for the special attention he has been paying to higher education since he began presiding over the destiny of our dear and beloved country, Cameroon. As you know, the university system in Cameroon has been undergoing profound changes since 2007, the year in which CEMAC, Head of State and Government, launched the BMD reform. This reform is unfolding universities through a considerable diversification of training offers and increasing professionalization of trainings, and hence a complete reconfiguration of the university layout. Given the new dispensation, coupled with the exponential increase in student population, wide-ranging structural adjustments have become imperative. To breast the challenge, the Head of State, His Excellency Paul ordered the creation of 2 new universities, Marwa and Bamenda, the setting up and opening of new schools and faculties with special emphasis on the technological and professional component, the putting in place of Pro-ACP, support program for the technological and professional component of higher education, the institution of professional fields of study in classical faculties, the construction of University Digital Center.
Cameroon's Minister of Higher Education, Professor Jacques Famin Dongo, speaking there to journalists in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, and health experts have said if the Cameroon government does not step up efforts to fight diabetes, the infection rate and consequences would increase by 2025. They were speaking today in Yaoundé during a sensitization and screening campaign. Inosunaze reports.
With a prevalence rate of 4.5% in urban areas and 3.5% in rural areas, diabetes constitutes a big health threat in Cameroon.
Ça veut dire que si on prend 100 personnes au hasard,
according to a health expert, Dr. Christophe Noedoui at the Yaoundé General Hospital, these statistics imply if 100 persons are picked up randomly, there is probability to have 4 or 5 diabetic patients. In rural areas, out of 100 selected randomly, at least 3 cases of diabetes will be registered. By 2025, he says, diabetes might become a chronic disease.
Épidémie grave d'ici l'an 2025.
It is thus urgent to take adequate measures to combat and prevent the aggravation of the epidemic. At the Yaoundé General Hospital, a sensitization and screening campaign has been organized to spread awareness and treat patients.
Paramètres glycémiques tensionnels anormaux.
Dr. Alain Kamgang says those who have abnormalities caused by diabetes are immediately administered treatment with constant follow-up.
Éventuelle consultation pour la meilleure prise en charge et suivi des patients.
A blood pressure monitor is offered free of charge to patients who face financial constraints. The experts reinforce their capacity for proper treatment. Health personnel, according to Dr. Christophe Noedowi, must first and foremost have notion on diabetes, be able to detect the symptoms, complications and simple treatments of the epidemic.
Ce personnel médical et paramédical. Vous savez qu'en médecine, il faut apprendre tous les jours.
The family and diabetes is theme of the 128th edition of World Diabetes Day. The day whose commemoration began November 13 in Yaoundé, wrapped up November 14 with a public debate forum at the Yaoundé General Hospital.
In sports, officials of the inspection team of the Confederation of African Football have rounded up their inspection visit to the Republic of Cameroon from the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, through Garo, Bafoussam. They ended up their visit today in the city of Douala, and they went inspecting the sports infrastructures, notably the stadiums that welcome encounters and, of course, training sessions of the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. They went through the Japuma Sports Complex, through the Omispor Stadium, as well as the Bonamusadi and Bapelepe Stadium. And at the Omispor Stadium, work is at 63%, and at the Japuma Stadium at 75%, as well as the Bonamusadi and Bapelepe Stadiums are concerned. Works are at 60%, and the deadline is 31st December 2018. That's it for the first segment of this news. Coming up next is Talking Point. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in Talking Points. We are receiving Dr. Gordon AJIONINA. He's the National Coordinator of the Mangroves Network. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babila.
You're just from a seminar on climate change, which has been taking place here in the economic capital, Douala, and that seminar is focusing on how to mitigate the damaging impacts of climate change. What is being done? What are the efforts that have been put in place so far at the level of Cameroon?
Yeah, Cameroon has done quite a lot within the framework of international conventions, especially the framework, the United Nations framework on climate change. There are a number of actions like developing plans, strategies to mitigate the effect of climate change through the adaptation, National Adaptation Program, the NDCs, what we call the indices that came out from the Paris Agreement, and then we have the RED programs that are going on.
And the Worldwide Fund for Nature brought together a number of experts from Cameroon and other African countries who are meeting here in Douala discussing climate change. What is the focus of the discussions? You had a presentation today in that seminar.
Yeah, the seminar brings about especially the NGOs and actors working within the conservation and community-based capacity building sector to acquaint themselves with vulnerability, climate change vulnerability analysis, how to conduct, and again how to mitigate the effect of climate change based on those assessments. You know, really to make them climate smart, as we call it now, that is different from what used to be business as usual. In business as usual, we need to change the trajectory so that the greenhouse emissions are reduced to various levels.
And one of the components of the environment, the biodiversity of Cameroon, which is under attack, contributing to climate change effects in Cameroon, is concerns mangroves. And you are the national coordinator of the mangroves network. First of all, what's the importance of mangroves in the environment, in the conservation of biodiversity?
Mangroves are special type of ecosystem that are found within areas that are affected by tides in the coastal areas of the world. Cameroon is lucky to be one of the countries that have this mangrove. It's the sit in Africa and first in Central Africa. The mangroves have a close link with fisheries, because that is where more than 80% of animals or aquatic wildlife spend at least part of their life cycle in that system. It is also connected to inland system. You know, the river basin all ends into the sea, and through mangroves, these systems are quite particular, and they support also a wide range of fisheries biodiversity.
And the mangroves have been destroyed. What is the state of the mangroves today, especially along the coast?
In Cameroon, whale white is a widely threatened ecosystem. In Cameroon, we are losing more than 30% of our mangroves in the last 20 years, and with an annual loss of close to 3,000 hectares. And the consequences, you know, linked to climate change. Mangrove sequester more than 5 times carbon as more than the inland systems. You see, the link with climate change is very, very, very pertinent. Also, since it stocks a lot of carbon, when destroyed, they can also release a lot of carbon to the atmosphere, also contributing as source of greenhouse emission.
Now, what has the National Mangroves Network been doing to protect this very important component of the ecosystem?
Mangrove Network been working since 2005, consisting of more than 40 NGOs, experts working within to fight to reinforce the role of mangroves in fisheries, climate change, biodiversity, and so on. We have been impacting, especially in mainstreaming mangrove and coastal area issues, into climate change plans, adaptation plans, RED programs, and all other programs that the government is undertaking in environmental sector, including the National Biodiversity Action Plan. So we are means to mainstream and to implement these plans on the ground.
And you have been working, as you're indicating, but the mangroves continue to be destroyed today, are still being destroyed. What are you doing to protect, to stop the destruction of these mangroves?
Yeah,
are you creating national parks?
Yeah, and the mangroves, as you mentioned, national parks are being created to especially the marine national parks. We are assisting the government to do so. Recently, we have the Douala Idea National Park that has been created just a few weeks ago, and it harbors more than 20% of Cameroon mangroves. So we will be feeding in studies and supporting this creation. Also, at the level of capacity building at community level, we've been organizing seminars and doing quite a lot to strengthen them so that they can be resilient to changes in mangrove destruction. Also, I can also mention that we also carry out direct impact reduction activities like improved smoke ovens. You know, mostly the lot of fish is being smoked with this mangrove wood. We put in smoke ovens that can reduce as much as 60%, 40 to 60% of the wood that is used in mangrove. In fish smoking.
What punishment is reserved for those who destroy mangroves, like in Yupwe here in the economic capital Douala, and all along the river there is destruction, massive destruction of mangroves?
Mangrove, as of now, doesn't have a law. The government, we are fighting with the government to see that these laws are developed that will be adaptable to the mangrove system. We know we borrow from forest laws, environmental laws, but it's a special type of ecosystem that needs consideration because it is between the sea and the land. So it's quite special, it's quite quite particular, and they need special laws so that institutional problems and conflicts that come arise with it, because there is serious lack of jurisdiction. You know, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of the various ministries, they don't know where their competencies start and end. So,
apart from the laws that you are demanding, what else do you need to be effective in your job to effectively stop the destruction of mangroves?
We need to be equipped. We need to be equipped operationally. You know, scientific equipment. We need also to be able. We need techniques of communication with the local population, how to communicate information that will be necessary for them, to engineering them to protect mangroves. So all these communication strategies, apart from scientific strategies that we're putting in place, we need them to really mediate with the community in order to protect this system.
All right, Dr. Gordon AJIONINA, you are the National Coordinator of the Mangroves Network. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.